Hello, fellow traders. 'Tis I, the rumpled one. MT5 donational indicators, the TRO 2020 smart ranges, part 2. On the part 1 video, the first video, I mentioned that we can use the smart ranges gauges for the rat zone, but it's still early in the day. We don't have enough range for the rat zone. So what we can do is we can look at it for the buy zone. But I want you traders to remember one thing. These videos are for educational purposes only. Your results may differ from mine. Trading is extremely risky. You can lose all of your money. If you need trading, investment, or financial advice, seek the advice of an accredited financial professional. And yes, because of my friend Airball, I am going to be coding a few MT5 indicators. Nothing like I've done for MT4, but basically the basics, the ones you can really take advantage of. And so you can see here, I've already converted over my TRO my notes because some people think that's my best indicator because it allows you to put text on the screen. Of course, you don't have to make it this big. You can make it smaller in the inputs. You know, you can choose your the font, the font size, and how much to fill it, so it shifts it to the left, and in your colors and everything. And you can put more than one version of this indicator or instance of this indicator on the chart. Just make sure each instance has a separate tag. And so, like I said, educational purposes only. And so here we have the TRO Smart Ranges indicator here, and it's one indicator loaded up 6 times. Each one's a different instance. Now, as I mentioned, we can use this for the buy zone. What is the buy zone? Well, let's go back. We know price ranges, and the range, that when we say range, we usually mean high minus the low. And so, for example, the last day on Friday, high minus low was 148 pips. So you'd love to make 148 pips. I know I sure would, but chances of getting 148 pips all in one trade, it usually doesn't happen. But you see the range, you can look at the range in different pieces. So for example, if you look at the range from the high minus close and close minus low, that splits it up into 2 sections. So for example here, if we switch back to a daily chart, you can see we've got high minus close and close minus low. So that's high minus low if you add the two together, right? So why would we want to split them up? Well, because it shows you what can happen here. It shows you that price makes a high, reverses off a high, makes a low, reverses off the low. So we talk about the buy zone. Well, if you think about it, the buy zone says price is going to range outside of an area surrounding the open. So this was the open here, right there. So we know from statistics, if you watch some of my frequency distribution videos, that price is usually going to be somewhere greater than 20. So we have the buy zone set up in Forex from the open plus or minus, the open plus or minus, say, 10 pips. So that's a 20 pip range. Open plus 10, open minus 10. Between that, that's 20 pips. Well, 148 can't fit into 20. So if you get to a point where close minus the open is around 10 or at minus 10, either 10 or minus 10, what's going to happen is chances are it's going to keep going. Now, once again, these videos are educational purposes only, but sometimes before the day's over, it's going to move outside of that range. And that's just what's going to happen. So you're going to see, say, high minus open and open minus low, even though I don't have it here. I could put it here. In fact, let's just do that just because I can. So I believe this indicator is right here. Close. No. This one must be this one. Close. Yeah, show previous low minus low. Let's make that open minus low. And then let's make this one. No, not that one. Let's make this one here high minus the open. So if you're doing the buy zone trade, we're thinking high minus the open and open minus the low. So let's look at 1 day ago. High minus the open, 135. So if you triggered in at open plus 10, that means there was a chance to get 125 pips. On the other hand, if you would have triggered in at open minus low, there was a chance to get 3 pips. So if you triggered in at open at the low, at the open minus 10 pips, you had a chance to get 3 pips. So as you can see, price ranges. And the day before that, high minus open was 60. Triggering in at open plus 10 gives you an opportunity to get 50 pips. Here, 2 days ago, open minus low was 73. Triggering in at open minus 10 gave you a chance for 63 pips. So it should be obvious that taking this simple trade from the open, trading away from the open within that plus 10, minus 10 range, there's a good chance you can make money. Now, some people, there's always the naysayers. They go, oh, you get in there, you can get chopped up, blah, blah, blah. Well, that's true. You could. So what do? Now, when I first started doing the buy zone, I was trading stocks and people kept saying, what's your stop loss? I would never tell them what the stop loss was because to me it was obvious. If I got to a point of open plus 10, it's telling me I need to buy. So if I buy and price reverses and it gets to the open minus 10, it's telling me to sell. Well, if it's telling me to sell, it means I need to get out of the buy if I haven't already gotten out with a profit. So to me, it was so obvious. But then again, I was the one that created it, so it's obvious to me, but it wasn't obvious to other people. So now I pretty much have to tell them, if you trigger in open plus 10 and it reverses on you, then if you're not out at the open, you need to be out at open minus 10. So you basically set up your risk. So, and that's the other thing about trading. Some people always say, where do I put the stop loss? Well, stop loss is a function of risk. And so let's say you've got a $1,000 account and you don't want to risk any more than $50 per trade because you got 20 50s in 1,000 and you figure you're not going to lose 10 times in a row, so you're not going to deplete your account by half. And yes, that's risky. And once again, these are videos are for educational purposes only. And if you need trading advice, seek it from an accredited financial professional, not some guy, making YouTube videos, because you can't trust anybody on YouTube, right? Point being, serious, in all seriousness, this is trading, this is money, this is, people's lives, money's at stake. It's really not a laughing matter, but we can joke about it. You can't be serious all the time, right? You get kind of boring. The point I'm trying to make is that you have to control your risk. And so if you control the risk, and you don't want to lose more than 5 or 10 or 2 or 0.5% per trade, then if you're always trading the same position size, then the stop loss is always going to be the same distance. Now, if you want to use different position sizes, then you figure out where your stop loss is, and then you set your size accordingly. So, for example, if you want to trigger in long at open plus 10, and you want to trigger, you want to get out at the open because you figure if it goes up to open plus 10 and reverses, I don't want to lose more than 10 pips, then you put your stop loss at the open. On the other hand, you might say, well, let's give it a little breathing room and I'll trigger out at open minus 10. So the first trader might have a position size of 2, but the second trader only has a position size of 1. But the risk is the same because you're only going to lose that, say, $50 on the trade, or the $20 or whatever it is. Doesn't matter. You have to decide what your risk is per trade. So you see here, we're looking at the daily chart, and right now close minus open is 11, so you would have triggered in at the 11, at the 10, so you'd be up a pip right now. And you see here, but the high, we had a chance of getting 3 pips if we triggered in, and we never triggered at the low. So that's the buy zone here. And so if I change the time frame back here to 15 minutes, or 5 minutes, I guess, you can see here. So this is the open line. This would be daily open. And I haven't done, even though you can see it says TROHL5, the indicator, I'm calling it test lines for now. And anybody making a donation, you'll get all the MT5 indicators I've created. And there's not going to be, I don't know how many there's going to be, but right now it's just test lines. And then sooner or later, I'll put all the good stuff over here like I did on MT4. So you can have that and be able to put the offset so you'll see where to trigger in. But right now you can just use the gauges here and they tell you. And you can have more than 5 or less than 5. That's just the default. Because usually when I trade off the hour candle, I'd like to see the previous 4 hours because it gives me a clue into what H4 is doing. So that is how you use the smart ranges for the buy zone. So what we're looking at, once again, normal range, when we say range, we usually mean high minus low, but you can break that up into 2 chunks, high minus the close and the close minus the low. And when you're trading a buy zone, you're looking to trade away from the open. So high minus open shows you the potential you could have had if you got in at the open, out at the high, or actually at the open plus 10, you can subtract 10. But you see here, there was some nice trades here to the long side. There was only a couple to the short side here. But of course, the pound's been on a streak. But if you wanted to, you could change this to, let's just take a look here. I'll show you how to do that. Pick one of these, doesn't really matter. Right here, if you say my bars, you could put 10. And that's that one. And close it. And you can see here, it puts 10 bars out. And so there was this one day, 8 days ago, where there was 116 pips if you triggered at open minus 10 pips. So that's how that works. Now I need to put that back the way it was. Also, you'll get these templates too if you make that donation. But like, guys, I'm not here to sell indicators. I'm basically doing this for my friend Airball. But I'll make these available to you. Donations, look in the comment link and it'll show you, gives you the link, $55, but also, or more, make sure you say MT5 indicators so you don't get the MT4s because they don't work on MT5. But remember, traders, it's not what you trade, it's how you trade it. So I hope you go out there and drain the banks.